What's going on, everybody? King of Dragons 5000 here, coming at you with another figure review. Today we'll be having a look at the NECA Ultimate Collection Freddy vs. Jason Voorhees. Here we do have Jason Voorhees in what I say is the most iconic look for him. So what we're going to do now is take a little break, get him opened up, and we'll have a better look at Jason Voorhees. So stay tuned, everyone. And so here we have Jason Voorhees posing out of the packaging. Before we take a look at the figure, let's actually run through Jason's accessories. Jason here does come with 3 different hockey masks. He comes with his default mask, which he has on him right now, which has the 3 little chevrons on it. He comes with a scratched up mask, and it's more dirty than his default mask. And finally, we get a hockey mask that's drenched in blood, which looks really good. Jason also does come with 2 machetes. He comes with a clean machete, which can fit in his right hand and looks really good. And then he also does get a bloody machete, which again fits only in his right hand and is done pretty well. Jason does come with a flame effect, which can attach to either machete. And then finally we do get a little teddy bear, which fits in his left hand, and it looks really good. Other than that, Jason here doesn't come with any other accessories. I think the one accessory I wish he did come with was the Freddy head that he had, which he held at the end of the movie, but that's neither here nor there. With his accessories out of the way, let's actually move on to his details. And so here we have a closer look at Jason Voorhees, and NECA did a phenomenal job with the hockey mask. You can see it's really worn. You can see it has some wash on it, which does look good. The little red chevrons do look really nice on it, although I do feel they're a little too clean. It's as if they dirtied up the mask and then slap the chevrons on, so the red does seem a little bit cleaner than the rest of the mask. But other than that, I think it still looks really good, and that's probably one of the things I like most about this Jason is the hockey masks look really good. Same cannot be said for the face underneath the mask if we can take his hockey mask off. And here we have a look at Jason, which the face is not my favorite version of Jason Voorhees. If I had to choose a version of Jason that I like the best, it would probably have to be the Jason from Friday the 13th, Part 3. This is I really don't know how to describe this face. It's not NECA's fault that the face is bad. It's just basing it off source material, which the source material is terrible to say the least. He kind of looks like I'm trying to think of what he looks like. He looks like a misshapen walnut, some kind of nut that got damaged in its little cocoon. You can see he does have a little tuft of hair right here, which we would see later on in the Friday the 13th remake, but I don't know, there's something about this face sculpt that I think I would prefer he keep the hockey mask on, because it's terrible in a bad way. And again, that's not faulting NECA for this. It's just terrible in the sense of the design of it is terrible. NECA is just going off the design from the movie, and again, his head is a terrible design in the movie. With his face out of the way, putting his mask back on because he does look better with it on, let's actually talk about his wardrobe now. When I think of Friday the 13th, this is actually the Jason that comes into my head. It's not any of the previous Jasons. It's actually the Jason from Freddy vs. Jason. I think this is his most iconic look and what people think of when they think of Jason Voorhees. He has the really worn jacket, although I want to say it should be a little on the green side rather than the brown side. It kind of does blend together with his head sculpt, which that's a little bit disappointing. I would have liked to see some green on this jacket. It did appear a little bit green in the movie, so maybe it's just the way NECA went about it. Maybe it's just my imagination that he never wore green. But the jacket is sculpted really, really nice. You can see all the detailing in it. It looks like a jacket that has seen its fair share of wear and tear. You can see it's torn right here with some of the interior of the jacket showing. A pocket used to exist right there. Same thing over on this side. A pocket used to be right here. We can see some tearing right here exposing the inside of the jacket, as well as it's full of holes, wear and tear. Oh, that's just creepy looking. I love it. Again, we have a tear on the sleeve. On this sleeve, you can see a little bit of a tear right here. He's practically missing the sleeve right here on his left side, and only the cuff right here on his right side. He is wearing full gloves. This is, of course, a carryover from Friday the 13th Part 8, I believe, where he wore the gloves. Was it Jason Takes Manhattan or Jason Goes to Hell, which was Part 8? I honestly don't remember. I think it was Jason Goes to Hell. He is wearing a black beat-up shirt, although I'm pretty sure it's not supposed to be black, but it is black. You can see it's full of holes and tears and rips. He is wearing a blue shirt underneath that, so Jason does like dressing in layers because it's probably cold in Crystal Lake. I do like the fact that they sculpted the button here on his pants. That's something they didn't have to do, but they did anyway. And his pants are done really well. You can see some tears right here. It looks like it's wearing out right here. We have some more holes and tears going down the leg. So just overall really nice. One problem I do have is that there's no place to store his machete, which is a little bit unfortunate, but in the movie he really didn't store it anywhere. He just held it all the time. Again, his pants have some wear and tear on it. And despite being black, his pants are all black, it does feel like there's some kind of dry brushing on there just to give it a little more detail. Maybe there's like a dark brown on it. Maybe it's just cast in dark brown and my camera's just catching it in really good lighting. So that looks really good. And then probably the one thing I don't like about this Jason costume, his platform boots. Now I know what they were going for. They were trying to channel the Frankenstein monster. But Jason's already a big guy. He doesn't need platform shoes. That's something I never understood why they gave him. But shoes aside, I still really love this design of Jason, minus the shoes and the head. Other than that, I think he's a really well-designed character, especially in Freddy vs. Jason. So what we're going to do now is actually get him compared to a few other figures you may have in your collection. And so here we have Jason posed next to a DC Multiverse Superman and a Marvel Legends Cyclops. Here we have Jason posed next to a WWE Elite Scale figure and a Mezco 1/12 Collective Popeye the Sailor Man. And finally, here we have Jason posed next to the Friday the 13th remake Jason, and you can see the new Freddy vs. Jason is a beast of a figure. I did say he was pretty beast-like. He's even bigger, so I just love the scale of both of these figures. So with the comparisons out of the way, let's actually move on to his articulation. And this Jason does sport quite a bit of articulation. Some of it is kind of questionable. He has a ball joint in the neck. Now, he doesn't have any movement from the head to the neck. All the movement is done here in his neck, so he can tilt his head side to side, can look back, can look down a fair bit, does rotate. I would have liked to see a head joint as well as a neck joint just to give him more posing options, but as it stands, that's a pretty okay joint. It's not the best, but it works for me. Arms are on a universal hinge. They do go out to about that far. They do a full 360. We don't have any bicep swivel, but we do have a single bend in the elbow, giving us 90 degrees, and it's the same for both arms, so I do like that. We do have rotation at the elbow. We have a swivel and a hinge in the wrist. Although because the way his cuff is sculpted on this side, we don't get too much movement on the left side, and it's even more hindered right here on the right side, so do be aware of that. He does have a mid-torso joint which does let him crunch forward only to about that far. He can crunch back, not too much, but he does have a secondary ball joint in the waist which does let him lean forward quite a bit, and then he can lean back even further. He does have rotation up here at that mid joint, and then right here at the lower joint he can tilt his body side to side. So I really do like the ball joint that they went with. Rotation is of course a standard. Legs do go out to about that far. Not the furthest we've ever seen, but it'll do. He does have a really stiff thigh swivel, so it is there. Legs do kick forward to about there, kick back all the way out. He does have a single joint in the knee, not quite 90 degrees, but it'll suffice for this version of Jason. We also do have rotation at the knee. We have a hinge in the ankle, which goes back only to about that far, goes forward to about that far. We do have rotation and some really slight rocker ankles, all because of the way his cuff just surrounds that foot. So overall, decent articulation. It's not the most dynamic, but it's Jason, and you're not going to really have him doing karate kicks, although you can if you want him to. With that out of the way, guys, let's actually get him posed for my final thoughts, and we'll wrap up this review. And so here we have the NECA Freddy versus Jason Voorhees posed for my final thoughts, and this Jason is a very imposing figure. I do love the way he came out. As I stated at the beginning of this review, this is what I think of when I think of Jason Voorhees, just a big, towering, massive hunk of a destructive war machine, and this figure encapsulates that perfectly. Now, I do have some issues with the design of the character itself, mainly the head underneath the mask and the platform shoes don't really make much sense to me. But overall, this is a fantastic figure that really does encapsulate what Jason looked like in Freddy vs. Jason. I do see NECA re-releasing this figure down the line in a bloody variation that is reminiscent of the final battle between Jason and Freddy. Now, I would like to see a Freddy Krueger from this movie, but if you're a fan of NECA, you probably have a dozen Freddys to have this Jason fight. Unfortunately, I don't, so I don't have anything to really compare him to, but this is still a phenomenal figure. If you can find this Jason Voorhees in stores, I really do recommend you pick him up. He is a must-have for any Friday the 13th fan or any Jason Voorhees fan. He is starting to hit Target at the time I'm making this video, and I did happen to get mine from my local comic book store. So a huge shout out to the good folks of Black Sheep Comics for getting this out to me so I could review it for you guys. With that being said, guys, I'm King of Dragons 5000. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel, go check out all my other action figure reviews as well as all my other NECA videos. Hopefully you find them informative. As always, if there's a figure you would like to see me review, let me know down in the comments, and if it's in my collection, I'll definitely have a look at it. While you're at it, check out my Instagram account for new and exciting action figure photos, and ring that bell to be notified every time I upload a video. Until next time, guys, I'll see you later. Take care, everyone.